Sophiralou and welcome to my channel.
Hello guys and welcome to this week's Sketchbook Sunday. This week the topic as chosen by you guys is all about story writing. So there won't be much drawing in this one, more about planning. But if you want to vote for next week's topic, there is a poll that's going to pop up here and you can vote for your favourite there. As always, do not stress too much if your topic doesn't get chosen for next week. There are topics I would like to do in future videos, maybe touch on further in a video. I just go off and see which ones are your favourites and go from there. This week I have got this is just like a notebook which I have all my plant witch ideas in, which I can't show you too much in here. I've got just some standard writing tools, and this week instead of cup of tea I actually have a nice cold drink in this cute little cactus cup. It's rather warm at the moment and I don't have milk in for tea, so nevertheless. So I want you to grab a notebook, some writing tools, and as always, let's discuss. So this week's topic is all about story writing, and there are some key important parts when you're thinking about your story, your character development, and how your character fits in within their own world. As always, topics can be built up upon, and once you have your basis idea, you can build up and develop your universe from there. In a previous video where I was map building and talking about building up a character's universe, I explained that it can be something that you develop on in the future. This goes for story writing, it also goes on for character design. The more you build up your characters, the more notes you make, the more information you have about your character, the more your character's world will develop. When it comes to story writing, you've always got to follow a few basic rules. You've got to have a beginning, cannot write today, a middle, and an end. This serves as all plot devices. I'm just going to zoom in so you can see a little bit better. Alright, so you want your beginning to have the basis of your character's journey. So this begins your character's journey. It also helps us to get to know the character. This is something that you can build up mainly in your beginning, but it's also stuff that you can build up throughout your story. Why is your character going on a journey? Help explain this in the beginning of the story and get us to know your character so that we can fall in love with them and help put ourselves in their shoes. Really good stories start off with a very strong beginning, and this will help not only develop you to understand the character, but it will also help you to open your mind and broaden your horizons. There are millions of ways of being able to approach story writing and being able to put it into your comics. You may think, but hang on a minute, I'm just going to develop this character's world. Why do I need to think about this character's story? Even if you're just drawing a picture of your character, you need to think about the development of your character and why are they doing the things that they are doing? How does this fit in within their story? What does this mean to the character? Why have you chosen certain things that you've chosen? Think about that as you develop your ideas and develop the character within not only your drawings, but within the story writing as well. The middle part is built up. Maybe there's a conflict in this section. The middle part I find is always the trickiest to keep the story going. You want there to be conflict. Maybe your character's in trouble. How can they solve this? Maybe it doesn't have to be a conflict. Conflict doesn't mean just about fighting, by the way. It can be, oh no, the character doesn't have a spell for their recipe. How are they going to do this? And think about this, think about when you're drawing each chapter of your book, you want your chapters to have a beginning and a middle and an end and build up throughout the whole chapter. Maybe it ends on a cliffhanger. So your end can have a conclusion if you want it to, or a cliffhanger. But there always tends to be the end solution to the character's problems. So maybe, I don't know, the character has found out where this ingredient is in particular that they need for a spell, but oh no, it's in a hard to get area. How are they going to get there? And this comes in with character conflict as well. So when I'm thinking about my character and my character's interactions about others, so once you've built, say, this is your character, it helps to build up your character's weaknesses and strengths. So you want to show their weaknesses and how they can use their weaknesses in their story to build themselves up. When I'm thinking about a character, I'm thinking, okay, what are their strengths and what are their weaknesses? What are they good at? What are they bad at? And this also comes into with villains, and it comes into any other side character that you're going to do. You're going to want to think of, why are they in this story? What are they doing? What brings them to the plot? Why are they in this? Even if you're going to draw a comic, or if you're going to draw the simplest slice of life story, you're going to want something to bring this story along. And even the slightest bit of conflict, yet again, this does not have to be battle in any way, shape or form, but it helps drive a story along. If you think about your favourite books when you grew up, why is that story so interesting? Is it the character development that you're after? And this is something that you want in your story as well. You want character development. Sorry if my handwriting isn't the neatest. I'm trying to talk and write at the same time. It can be quite difficult. You're going to think about your character development, and this is going to help drive your story. It's going to help think, okay, my character has a weak point and they want to work on that. Or my character has come across something and they don't know how to solve it. You're going to want your character to move from A to B. If your character's going on a journey, why are they going on that journey? What is the driving point for that? It really helps for you to get a nice notebook and for you to write down and jot down all your ideas. Not only will this help you make sure everything in your mind is nice and put together and cleanly, your notebooks don't have to be neat. What I find that really does help actually is get some good sticky notes. I got these from the works, they're super cute. You can get some really good sticky notes, and you can build this up in your story. So say for example, oh my goodness, I have an idea. You can write it down in the sticky note and you can put it in place in your notebook so that you can build up through there. Having a notebook to help develop your character's story ideas is really going to help you. I have two that I use. I use this one for actual story plot and story driven ideas, and then I have my other sketchbook where I do most of the character development and character drawings, as well as planning for future comics. This has a lot of like story development ideas in here, and it also has like notes and thumbnails in here. And so I have all my thumbnails and character development in one, and I have all my notes for the actual stories in another. And this way, when it comes to actually doing the final product, I have my backup and I've done my research. As well as when you're going to do your character story, make sure you do plenty of research. Make sure your story is concise, and if they're traveling from A to B, it does help to build a little map if you want to, but it will also help solidify your story. So if you're saying your character is going from one city to another, you'll be able to show like the like what obstacles they would face. You want your story to be interesting enough for your reader to carry on reading. If it's a mystery, if it's horror, if it's slice of life, if it's romantic, there has to be some sort of conflict that your character faces so that they can develop, not only for us to enjoy and love the character, but for us to enjoy like picking up the next book or anything like that. I find that my favourite books have the most interesting characters. I'm in particularly really in love with the Lemony Snicket series of Unfortunate Events. It constantly has mystery that every time I turn the page I'm hoping to unveil more. I really do love some of the Christopher Pike series, which are the horror series, because I'm always interested to find out what happens next. Harry Potter series, I always wanted to know. There was mystery, there was conflict, there was character development. And think about your favourite stories, and they don't have to necessarily be books. One of my favourite manga series of all time was Nana by Ayazawa, and it's just because I wanted to know more about the characters. The more passionate you get about your story, the more passionate it's going to come across, and hopefully your readers will also enjoy it as well. Also, when you've written the synopsis, think about like when you're doing each So when you're doing each like chapter, whether or not it's a comic or whether or not it's a manga or whether or not, think about your beginning, your middle and your end of where you want the chapter to start and how you want it to end, and the little obstacles you can place in between. Even if the obstacles are far and few between, it will keep the story driven and keep it going forward and make a person want to read the next chapter. I hope this has been helpful in some way, shape or form. This is just like the stuff that I've picked up as I've been doing comics and as I've been writing my own work and doing research into my own work. If you guys have any ideas down below, please let me know. And if you have a topic that you wish me to discuss in the next video, make sure to comment down below. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I hope in some way, shape or form that it has been helpful. And I really hope that you guys write your own stories, create and love what you do. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and as always folks, stay creative. Bye!